And we're live. Hi, Kemi.
Hi, Tolani.
It's so good to have you here.
Same
Um,
here.
Thank you for taking the time to join us on our live webinars for business leaders at Halisi. I'm very, very excited to have you here because, we started our journey together, sort of, and, you're here, and I'm really proud of you and all your accomplishments. It's amazing just watching you work. You are doing amazing, both with Bora and Babymigo. So yeah, a round of
Thank you
applause.
very much. Thank you very much, Tolani. I mean, it's great to be here with you. And like you said, we've been together for, such a long period of time. And well done on the great work that you're also doing at Alice.
You. Thank you. So, yeah, quickly before we start, I just want to give a quick, brief introduction to Halisi and then to Baby Migo as well. So, Halisi Consult is a business development consulting company. We offer business plan, fundraising, and marketing services to small businesses and startups in sub-Saharan Africa. And we've worked with 200 plus companies in Africa, the US, UK, and the UAE of recent. So yeah, that's about Halisi. Can we get a brief introduction into what you do at Baby Migo?
Okay, so Babymigo is a pregnancy and parenting platform focused on providing tools, resources, and hyperlocal support services to pregnant women, expecting moms, and parents with children between the ages of 0 and 7.
Okay, that's great. So why this business? Why this niche of femtech? Because it is femtech, right?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah. So why
Yeah.
this niche?
Well, so anyone who has had, a child who has been pregnant, would say how very tough. I mean, I just sent a tweet, something I saw on Twitter to, a friend about just a few minutes ago. Anyone who has been pregnant or who has had a baby once, and then not to talk of 2 times, 3 times, can tell how much of a tough journey that process is, right? And there's absolutely really nothing that prepares you. You can, I mean, our own job, for example, at Baby Migo is to be like your strongest ally through your pregnancy and parenting journey. But now imagine a world where there's no partner, like there's no digital partner, there's no one to even help you. Like you've lived your whole life, you're 20 something, you're 30 something, you've lived your whole life, you don't even know how to like change a diaper, and then you just find yourself, you're pregnant for 9 months and you have to take care of this baby, right? What is also interesting is that the pregnancy phase also comes with so many hormonal, physiological, emotional changes, and then you don't have this baby, right? What is also important to mention is that in as much as the pregnancy and parenting journey has a lot of challenges, and we have global organizations, apart from Big Migo, that are working to solve this problem. I always say that our problems in Africa is very peculiar to our continent.
Yeah.
There are quite a number of cultural challenges that those that are in the Western world, that are in developed countries, may not be able to face. I should also mention that according to the World Health Organization, Nigeria is actually one of the most dangerous places in the world to have a baby. We're
Yes.
actually the fourth worst country, and Nigeria accounts for 20% of the global maternal deaths in the world. And when you look at the causes, lack of information is a big issue. So I remember that I went for we had an outreach about, I think, a year ago, and we had one of the women. So the thing is that when a mom is approaching 9 months to have a baby, the baby should ideally turn, right? And then this woman is using like this agbo. She's already 9 months. She's using this agbo. Now, what happens is that when a mom continues to do all of these things, it now becomes an emergency case. Maybe by the time they get to the hospital, the baby passes, or the mom, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's a summary. I could go on and on, but that's a
Very,
summary of
it's
what we.
very, it's very, it's a very tough, how will I say it, environment, especially for mothers in Nigeria. Everyone has stories of losing a relative or losing a friend or an acquaintance to is it maternal mortality.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and
Maternal
it's
death.
quite, yeah, I mean, amazing work that you chose this niche. It needed to be done. Somebody needed to do it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well done. So how's the
Thank you.
journey been so far? I get we now that we understand the why you're doing it, and it seems like such important work. Well done. I have to commend you and your team. Like it's a lot. So
Thank
how
you.
has the journey been so far business wise?
Well, I think I'll say it's been a rewarding journey. I mean, in addition to like all of the resources, we're very particular about providing support services. So this year, we've launched 2K services. Well, I mean, I would also say that over the past month, I mean, prior to the launch of these services, we've majorly focused on B2B partnerships. But as we've progressed in our journey as a business, we found that there is a need for us to provide services to directly support the moms. And so this year we launched Mama Care, which is a maternity plan that provides discounted services for moms. And we've partnered with over 120 hospitals across Nigeria. And then we also have Pre-Class, which is an online antenatal support program. And I'll just give a brief story about what sort of propelled us to start Pre-Class, right? When a mom is pregnant, apart from a mom is supposed to go like for the first visit in the first trimester, that's the first 3 months. I mean, once they go for the first visit, they do like the regular ultrasound scan, and the mom is okay. They would usually tell the mom to start antenatal classes in the second trimester. But to
Yeah.
be very honest, I mean, that's not really enough. And then when you go for the antenatal classes in the second trimester, the mom is supposed to go once a month throughout the second trimester, and then in the third trimester probably evolves to once in 2 weeks. Many hospitals, because of the structure of hospitals, only do their antenatal classes once a week, right? And so what that means is that if a mom decides to go and see her doctor on a Thursday, she can't go again on a Wednesday, like especially like working parents, right? And we realize that there is really no one that is filling that gap, especially with with technology, and which is what we are leveraging at Babymigo. So what we try to do with Pre-Class is to say that the information that moms receive, and because information and awareness has been found by the World Health Organization to be a major challenge as to why moms are actually experiencing these high maternal deaths in Africa. And so what we have now done is to leverage technology to ensure that we're able to bring adequate information and prepare women, expecting moms, for motherhood before the baby comes.
Yeah, amazing work. Amazing work. So on the business side of things, like how do you structure your business around that sort of how do I say it, a delicate sort of business in that for a femtech company? How do you structure that kind of business?
I think it can sometimes be a challenge. I
Mm,
must admit, and I think that it's not even just. I mean, I think anyone in femtech, even globally, I've seen quite a couple of articles, and I've joined a few conversations. People have shared how that in term business wise, it can be a bit challenging to kind of balance impacts with finances, right?
mhm.
But I always tell the team that we need to ensure that we're of course delivering quality services, but we have to make money because we're not an NGO,
Yeah,
unfortunately. And
okay.
yeah, so we try to compensate for it. So we have our services that we're very big on. We have to pay for the service, but we're also able to compensate for it maybe through like partnerships where people want to sponsor. But I must admit that the femtech industry and the delicacy of the problem that we're solving sometimes can come off to people, as a bit of, something that, but it's, we definitely need to make money to sustain the business.
Of course. So, that being said, as a startup founder, what were the like challenges you found, as peculiar to femtech?
I'd say that I mean the major challenge that we found, and I think it's an issue rather with startup founders, is that you're very passionate about this work that you're doing, and if you're not careful, you're not really solving the actual problems that your users are facing. And so what we learned very early in our journey is to ensure that we carried our users along, because as a founder, you're thinking like you have this amazing journey, you want to change this amazing solution, rather you want to change the world, and you're saying, oh, you want. But the truth is that when you speak with your users or with your audience or your target audience, you then find that the way they would want that problem to be solved may be slightly different from the way you're thinking about it, from a founder point of view, from a founder perspective. I mean, there was a service that we had to, I'm trying to remember what service it was, I think it was Bloomcare, that we had to modify, right? And I mean, I just felt like, what, this is what moms need. These are like their challenges. This is what they would like to access in terms of digital, what's it called, digital consultations and the likes. And when we launched the service, we found that, they didn't want it to be like this. They wanted it to be like this. I'll finish answering this question by giving an example, even with like telemedicine. So you find that, so telemedicine is like, of course, consultation with the phone and all of that. With the advent of telemedicine, especially during the COVID era, a lot of hospitals and healthcare organizations were really, really focused on using one amazing platform for
Mm,
the consultation. But I found that companies that were using basic WhatsApp video call, were actually thriving, especially in this parts of Africa. Of course, there may be an issue of privacy and the rest of it, but you don't have to, sometimes technology doesn't have to be too complex for your
yes.
audience.
I agree. I agree. I feel like in that situation, especially what you said with telemedicine, we've had a few telemedicine clients, and they're essentially trying to reinvent the wheel. At that point, I have to come in and say, you can't just change people's behaviors overnight. This is how people access these services in the first place. So why not build your product along those lines? So I would have to say kudos to you and the team for putting your users first, as opposed to putting out the fanciest product that it can be. So that is the main thing. You have to build for your customers at the end of the day. So that's amazing. So um you haven't answered this question completely. So you face these challenges.
Okay.
How were you able to overcome the challenges that you faced as a startup founder?
I think that, of course, speaking with other founders, I mean, you begin to find that this is like a common challenge. And then, so for example, with the user one, I mean, as I began to engage and speak with a lot of founders, I found there was an issue. And so we decided to start building like focus groups, put out like, surveys, questionnaires, one-on-one interactions with moms to be sure that we're really, really solving something, a problem that they'll be interested in having a solution to. I think another, major challenge, and I think this is a Nigerian problem, is the people challenge, like the right team, right? Also because of the delicacy and how delicate the problem that we're solving is. So for us, in as much as, of course, we're making money and we want to make money and all that kind of stuff, it's also important for us that we work with people who are, at least slightly passionate about the work that we're doing. We don't want you to maybe be working in sales and then a mom calls to make an inquiry and you can't even, I mean, I'll give an example. We had one of our services, the mom had actually already, indicated interest. I think was about to make payment. And then we just didn't hear from her. And so I said, let's follow up on all of that. And upon follow up, we realized that unfortunately she had a miscarriage a few weeks ago, right? And of course, she couldn't proceed with that service. So imagine that you have a team who is not passionate, who doesn't understand the peculiarities of this industry and this work that we do. So I think that building the right team was a bit tough at the beginning, but I believe that we have been able to strongly hack that process in not just building the right team, but building a right structure to nurture the members of our team.
I have to agree with you. It's very difficult finding the right team in Nigeria, especially when you're building a business that you're passionate, that comes from a place of passion. Empathy always goes a long way. And I think reinforcing the vision and the mission of the company, as much as it sounds cliche or cheesy, I think it goes a long way as well. But I mean, I'm sure you're killing it. Um, yeah. So, what advice would you give to startups that want to stand out in their niche? Because Babymigo is quite niche. Then there's not a lot of femtech businesses. In fact, I tweeted it maybe a month ago. I hardly tweet on Twitter, by the way, but I tweeted it like nobody's building for femtech, and it's sort of. I think it was a series of fortunate events. Then I saw that you liked one of our past webinar posts. I was like, you know what? Kemi's building a femtech business, and I keep talking about it, in my inner circle. Like nobody's building for women, but Kemi is doing it. So it's a very niche thing, and I know that building in a niche is extremely hard to do, especially in a country like Nigeria that disposable income isn't really there, and people are trying to decide between paying for your services or paying for food, and it can be it's dicey. So what advice would you give to startups who want to stand out in their industry or in their niche?
I think I'll give two. I'd say one, master your audience. So because you're working in a niche industry, that means that, well, I mean, I would see that as a bit of an advantage, right? As opposed to as a disadvantage. So as opposed to say I was working in fintech where everyone is my customer, I would see that, okay, you know what, I'm working with just expecting moms and women with children, well, and fathers between the ages of
That's
zero and
it's a big niche though.
well, yeah, it is a big niche. So instead of focusing on, saying that, I'm not working with everyone and not everyone can use my service, I'd focus on mastering my audience. So, I mean, there's a way that we understand our audience. I mean, I'll take some extent. We've
You know your
very much,
people.
we know our people. Yeah, So I'll say master your audience. The second thing I'll definitely say is also to tell your story. To
Mm.
people, because you're working in a niche industry. What that means is that the regular person out there, I mean, if someone who doesn't have a baby, someone who's never had a baby, may not entirely understand the problem that you're solving. So for us, I mean, we leverage every opportunity to tell our story and to talk.
I think Kemi has lost connection there. Kemi, are you back?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I am.
Okay, okay, brilliant. Where were we? We're talking about the advice. No, you're talking about storytelling for startups that want to stand out in their industry.
Yes. Yes, yes. So I was just saying that for us, we always leverage every opportunity, because when you're working in a niche industry, it means that people may not everyone will understand what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I found that we've seen people that have referred us that they don't have a baby, even like guys, they don't have a baby, but they referred us to a mom or the spouse of a mom who needs the services. So the more you tell your story in a way that is understandable to as many people as possible, the better the chances that you're able to spread the word of the impact and the work that you're doing.
Yes, I have to agree with you that storytelling does go a long way in spreading the word, as you said, about what you do and how you do it and the value that you provide to your people as well. So it sort of ties back in into mastering your audience, doesn't it? Like if you're telling your stories, it sort of shows what value you add to your target market. And like you said, people that are not even in your target market would then be referring you to customers. Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's happened a few times for us as well. um my next question is this: so raising money, this is the trickiest part, I think, for most startups that we speak to. Everybody is, for lack of a better term, obsessed with fundraising. Like every startup that we speak to is looking for how to raise more money, or how to raise money if they haven't raised already, to develop maybe part of their product or their technology, and invest in marketing, or maybe reach more audiences. But I was very excited when Babymigo was a recipient of the Google Startups Black Founders Fund in Africa. I think it was the first. This is the first one, yes.
Yes, yes, that was the first one.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Huge congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So can you tell us more about um your journey to that? How that happened for Babymigo?
Yeah, well, I think first I'd like to think about. I mean, the discussion on fundraising is a very big discussion, and it's right for you to say that there's some kind of obsession in the tech ecosystem about fundraising. Understandably so, because really, you find that as you build your startup, you may not be able to go hard on marketing and quite a couple of other things if you don't have
Mm,
enough money. But at the same
I
time, I
agree.
like to think of it in a more balanced form. So in as much as, because you find a lot of startups that are fundraising, but they're not profitable. And when I mean profitable, yeah, you may not be profitable as a business now, but at least you can kind of see that in the next 1 year, there's a road to profitability. But there are quite a
Yes.
number of companies that are not, there's no road to profitability in the next 2 years, but they're, raising so much money. So I like to think of it in a balanced way where, we have raised our pre-seed and we're looking to raise, our next level of funds soon. But I like to think of it in a balanced way where you are saying, okay, we want to raise funds to do more things, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're profitable and we're a sustainable business in addition to the funds that we're raising. With regards to our journey to the Google Black Founders Fund, I think that Google has been I think Google is very passionate, about causes like ours in Africa. And I think just the quality of work that we're doing, the results that we also show, because at the end of the day, you can give all of these, you can say all of these things, but how about the numbers? Do you have the numbers to back up what you're doing? So I feel like I know that quite a number of, thousands of startups applied in Nigeria as well as in Africa. But for us, when we put in our application, we just focused on telling our story as well as sharing numbers in terms of the impact of the work that we're doing. And we're very glad when we were selected. I think even right after right after Google, we also had the US Department of State also pick us, and we had some funding for them. So I mean, it's just been
Wow,
a function of,
congrats.
yeah, thank you. It's just been a function of telling our story as well as sharing the numbers from the work that we're doing.
Yes, definitely. The impact speaks for itself. The work definitely speaks for itself. So, I have to applaud you and the team at Babymigo for, the work that you've done so far.
Thank you.
So are there any specific tips that you can share for startup founders that are looking to qualify for Google Startup Black Founders Fund?
Well, I definitely need to be more competitive this time.
I
So
agree.
I'd say go hard on it. I mean, literally bring out, pull out all the guns, as they would say, pull out all the guns because you really have to be on your best behavior and bring out all the numbers. I'd also say that try not to be vague in your application. So the challenge is that you're just like vague and saying all of these things, but you want to try as much as possible that in answering those questions you're also specific. In terms of the work, the impact, what you want to do. You are specific as possible and not just giving broad terms, broad explanations, and the things that you're doing. I think that would be very helpful for anyone who's looking to apply in the next application cycle.
Yeah, I agree. But funding, are you guys you mentioned that you've closed your pre-seed round.
Yes.
But I'm not I don't want to pry too much because I know I haven't seen an announcement yet. Do you have any other tips for founders when it comes to fundraising in particular, aside the ones you've mentioned? Because that was specific to the Google Fund. Do you have any
I'll
fundraising
say
tips to share for
I'll
us?
just say more of networking because at the
I
end of the
agree.
day, there's a lot of networking that goes into raising funds. So I'd say, if you think about it, very and why that's also very important, I must say, is because as a founder, you're constantly like putting your head in the work in the in the startup, and at the end of the day, you need to network to be able to find the right people to invest in your startup. So yeah.
I completely agree with you on that networking point because at the end of the day, the people that are going to fund your startup are human beings, and human
Yeah.
beings they eat, they drink, they go to networking events. So
Yeah.
networking is definitely one good strategy or tactic to employ when you're in that fundraising process. So my next question is this: how do you make your business? You mentioned profitability. Um, when you're building startups, they always say, "Oh, don't think of profitability first. Just think of how fast you can grow." And you guys have reached 200,000 users. I think that is amazing. By the way, well done. If I've not said well done, if I'm saying well done again.
Thank you.
So how do you balance um you know reaching as many people as possible, growing as fast as possible, and also having profitability in mind? Like, okay, we're growing as fast as possible with the funds that we have, the revenue we're making, but how then do you balance growth with you know profitability in the future at some point? I don't know if that question landed well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think the thing is to well, for me personally, I would say that the challenge sometimes is that when you build a solution as a tech startup, you're building without thinking about, where would the money come from, at some point. So I'll give you an example. When you think about LinkedIn, for example, you find apart from their adverts, they've built their platform in a way that you can place job ads on it. I think they have sales navigator, they have all these things.
Yeah,
So in as much as maybe when they started, so even if you didn't think about that when you started, I mean, you can always make amends as you go in terms of product development. So in as much as
yeah,
when they started, their key thing is that they have like lots of people posting on the LinkedIn feed. And as they evolved, or maybe they even thought about it from the beginning, they started to say that, okay, we have a lot of people now posting on the feed. How can we, what features, what features can we put in this product to help us make money? We see WhatsApp even kind of struggling with that, right now, where WhatsApp is trying to crack. We already have this amazing feature where people, I mean, WhatsApp is the number one product that you would go to when you want to chat for social interactions. And then they're
yep,
trying to think, what can we introduce? And then I think they launched WhatsApp Business. I don't know if they started receiving payments. I don't think they started receiving payments in Nigeria, but I know they're
mm,
trying to crack it, right? So I think the thing is either at the beginning or somewhere along the line, ensure that you're not just building, but you're thinking, okay, I mean, what is he having like a limited offer for the users? Is he the different strategies depending on the kind of startup that you're running, whether it's SaaS, it's B2B, B2C, and all that kind of stuff. But for you to really think of a way to that you can integrate making money into the whole. So I just don't keep giving free, premium, and there's no
From
premium.
to the end.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, I guess that's a very good answer. Um, so my next question is related to you being a business operating in a booming industry. Um, how do you make your business model efficient in a booming industry? Um, this is very specific to you. How do you make your business model efficient in a booming industry with a community-based product, essentially?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So community-based products can be very tricky. And I mean, even apart from Babymigo, when you think of community-based platforms in Nigeria, you find that it's always been a long-term game with community-based products. Right. So I'd say that in terms of how we make our business product efficient, I'd say personally, a lot of learning. Speaking to founders has been very helpful to me because sometimes as a founder, you're at this crossroad and you're thinking, what do I do next? What do I do next? And then you speak with another founder, they share insights, and you're like, I think this is the way to go. This is the right way to go. So I'd say that, definitely for me personally, learning. I'll also say like an efficient team. Our team, I must really commend them. We have a very, very efficient team that are constantly on top of the work that they do. Yeah, I think that's about it I can think of at this time.
Okay, that's great. So, are there any specific tips that you want to share when it comes to business generally or building in femtech as a tech startup?
Well, I'll say that the future is exciting for the startup sector, for the tech ecosystem. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
lot of focus, there's a lot of successes, in the tech ecosystem. So I'll just say that the future is very exciting. I am excited as well because of the potential of what we can do with, a lot of investment coming into the sector, a lot of conversations around the sector, and so much more. So I'll just say that we should all stay optimistic, and now is really the best time to build.
That was the best time to build. I agree with you. Wait. So my next question is about growth. You have 200,000 users. Um, how was the journey to get to 200,000 users? What were the strategic tactics that you employed to get to that number? I think it's more than 200,000. I think about 250,000, no?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would say that the first thing is even something else. I think that our journey to get into that is really one of the things I said earlier, and that's really mastering our audience. So because we've mastered our audience, we really kind of know the kind of content, the kind of information that they'll be interested. So whether we're running a paid ad or we're doing content marketing, we really understand our audience and we're able to provide information, resources, tools that our people are interested in. And the thing is
Mhm.
that when you give people value, they are willing to sign up, be a part of your community. I mean, I've had people personally reach out to me to say, I want to be part of what you guys are doing, I want to be part of what you guys are doing. And that's always amazing for me. So I would say that in terms of growth and how we've gotten to where we are, it's really about us mastering our audience on all sides.
Okay. That's very good. So if you were to start a startup from scratch today, would you say the first thing to think of when you're starting a new startup from scratch today in today's economy is mastering your audience?
Oh, yeah, of course you have to, because if you don't master your audience, how do you market or promote it? You have to, you definitely have to. And because I was also listening to, I think it was a Twitter space. I don't remember what it was today or yesterday. And then someone asked the question and said that, I'm about to start this startup and all of that. And I'm trying to think of how to differentiate myself because of the different people that are in this ecosystem, and I don't really seem to see anything unique about myself, as a differentiating factor to other people. And I mean that was somehow, because I'm thinking, like, you have to be in an industry where and apart from, just really knowing, because I also come from a healthcare background, I've worked in the hospital, I've worked with these pregnant women. I led the women's health unit when I worked in a private hospital in Nigeria. My co-founder also has that same experience working in a primary healthcare center. So we're coming from a place of knowledge, we're coming from a place of
Yep.
experience, and that has been very helpful in helping us understand our audience. So we're not just speaking theoretically,
Mm-hmm.
we're saying facts, right? And even from a theoretical point of view, we're actually constantly looking. Yesterday, I was just reading a journal, so we're constantly reading journals, and we're in tune with what is happening globally. When it comes to maternal and child health.
That's amazing. Well done. So my next question it pertains to you being because I know you have a co-founder, but I know that you're the CEO of Babymigo, yes?
Yes,
So there's this saying in the business world that when you're a CEO, no matter how high level you are, your job is still sales because you're still
yes.
selling. You're selling to your investors. You're perfecting the sales strategy for your sales team to execute, and so on and so forth. So how do you become a strong salesperson coming from a background that wasn't really would I say sales aligned? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like your background is you went to medical school, you worked in hospitals, you worked extensively in healthcare, same with your partner. So how do you go from being an sort of an operational person, sort of like an healthcare operator, to becoming a good CEO, becoming a strong salesperson to deliver the best results for your company?
I would say seeking knowledge, definitely seeking knowledge, because like you don't, like you said, I come from a healthcare background, and I think that seeking knowledge has been like the key thing in helping to master sales. And I like the fact that you said that every CEO is a salesperson. Personally, I always even say that if you're a CEO or you're a leader and you don't understand marketing and sales for the industry that you operate, that's a big issue. Even if you have like a an head of marketing, that's a very big issue, because there are certain insights that only you can share, right, with your team. So I don't even, like, personally, I don't joke with sales and marketing. I, like you said, I feel like it's my primary job. And even when I look at my itinerary every week as the CEO, I put my marketing and sales task as priority. And my marketing and sales task doesn't even have to mean that I'm the one speaking with the mom. It can mean that, you know what, I need to rethink this part. I need to look at this. I need to look at this. But I always ensure that my marketing and sales tasks are priority, in whatever it is that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
during the course of the week.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Sales is I think it's for me personally it's a never ending job because you can't constantly have to, think around it and, push and push and push. So my next question is, about co-founding. What are the not necessarily co-founding, what are the things that, when you were moving into building a tech startup, what are the things that you didn't envision that you would have to worry about, or new knowledge that you had to gain? You mentioned knowledge, gaining knowledge as one of the things that helped with, being a CEO and, being the chief salesperson in your company. Essentially, what are the things that you probably didn't think you had to work on, or the knowledge that you had to chase after, or add to yourself when you now became the CEO of a tech startup?
I'll definitely say tech. I have learned
Tech,
that tech is not as,
you
yeah,
don't take yourself.
tech is not as basic as, like, it's not as we sit and say, oh, I'm in tech, I'm in tech. Like, really understanding product management, product development, the technical part, the technical part of tech, not what we're seeing about, it's really it's a very interesting journey. Understanding the, front end development, back end development, UI, UX, all these things. It's a different ball game entirely.
I have to completely agree with you on that one. It's very difficult. I meet a lot of founders that have ideas, but the hard part is finding a technical co-founder that can, execute those ideas. I mean, that it's great to have ideas. Everybody has ideas, but can you build the tech components of your idea? I
Yeah.
guess that is the hard thing. So I'm gonna ask a question about co-founding. What tips or advice do you have for people that are looking for a co-founder or co-founding an organization, what are the things that you need to have at the back of your mind when you're co-founding a startup?
Yeah. I would say that, I mean, co-founding a startup is really like being in a relationship with someone, because every day, I mean, almost every day or every day, both of you are working together to ensure the success of this organization.
Mm-hmm.
And you will have conflicts, you have your highs, you have the lows, but also respecting each other. So for me personally, I know that for my co-founder, when it comes to tech, in as much as I've, tried my best to seek knowledge in area of, technology, understanding technology and how it works. I know that my co-founder's area of strength, in addition to other things, is really that technical part, the product development, product management, and everything. So I ensure that I respect, my co-founders, what's it called, decisions and thoughts around these
Opinions,
areas,
yeah.
opinions around these areas. I also think another thing is that I also believe that a co-founder relationship should be a complementary relationship, because you want a situation where this person has these strengths, this person has these strengths, and then when you come together, you're able to build these products and grow this company based on each other's areas of strength. There are even things that when people, maybe even my team members, send to me, I'm just like, you know what, give me 24 hours on this, or give me a few. I need to quickly run this by my co-founder, just to get so, because I know that that's like more of an area of strength. And the same thing with me as well. I think he's very clear on what my areas of strengths are, and we're able to really respect one another during the process of building. But however, my co-founder isn't actively involved in the day-to-day running of the business, but we definitely ensure that we respect one another's opinions, decisions, and thoughts as we build the startup.
That's amazing, because a lot of people look at co-founding as, oh, I'm giving away half of my company, I'm giving away a significant portion of my company, and I don't want to do that. And yeah, it's great that you have a good balance with your co-founder as well.
Yeah, and Tolani, I
Yes.
was going to also add that what I also find interesting about people, how people think about co-founding, is also that some people feel like um, I see people come to WhatsApp group and they're like, "Good morning, everyone. I'm looking for a co-founder. Kindly hit me up if you are interested." I'm like, co-founder relationship is not
How?
like you can't just. It's just the same way you won't go on and I say, "I want to I want to get married. Can you marry me?" Like, it's not. You know, it's something you have to carefully evaluate, think about,
Yes.
look within your network, have serious conversations. So I feel like people just take the whole co-founder thing, and maybe I have the tech ecosystem to blame, because tech ecosystem has sort of overflogged, co-founder, 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 co-founder. So people just feel like it's not like they can just stand up and just find someone and pick anyone they like, and that's always very fun. That remains very funny to me.
I honestly have to agree with you, because a lot of people, I go for networking events in Lagos, even here in London, and first conversation they're already talking about, I'm looking for a co-founder, and I'm like, that's not how you approach it. You approach, yeah, having a co-founder is like, you're in a relationship with that person, because it's you and that person building the company every day. So you really have to approach it with sense,
Yeah.
like the way you approach, a relationship. Like, do I really want to spend the next, I don't know, maybe 5 years building this company with this person? Do they have the right temperament that we need to grow this organization to the best that it can be? So those are the questions that you need to ask when you're looking for a co-founder. So it's not just something that first time you meet somebody else straight out there, I'm looking for a co-founder. Maybe you have idea that, one great idea that I believe will change the world, and you just meet someone that is a software developer, say, co-founder, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. And that's what
I've, I've
people
seen a
do.
lot of I've seen a lot of situations that end badly, that co-founders don't agree, and they had a beautiful idea but they couldn't just carry it all the way because they didn't have good will I say balance between them. Anyway, that being said, so I'm going to ask a question about Babymigo as a femtech organization. So now, the way women have approached um, mother care services, antenatal services, sort of having a community around childbirth and all of that. the way they approach it in the past has been quite traditional. They go to the hospital, they sign up, maybe they make friends at their antenatal class, and that's it. And they make friends with people in their churches or family members that sort of go with them as they go through their journey. How did Baby Migo figure out how to break that behavior in such a short time is my question. Like, how do you use technology to so not entirely change people's behavior, but use technology to improve a solution to a problem? That the solution was already there. People already know what the solution is. They know that, okay, if I get pregnant, let's go to the hospital, I'll sign up for antenatal. How do you then use technology to advance a solution that might have been working to an extent but might not have been that great? How do you get people to believe in that vision with you and come on board, all 200,000 of them? How do you make that happen?
I would definitely say that we're still in the process and it's a journey. But I mean, I always like to also refer to fintech when I think of things like this. People don't realize that they have a problem sometimes until a
Hmm.
solution and an innovation comes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the problem has always been there because at the end of the day, even as a pregnant woman, when you speak with pregnant women, you don't want to constantly be in a situation where you're constantly calling your mom or constantly calling your friend every time you have an issue, right? If there's a way that you can easily leverage technology to solve that problem and to help to answer the several questions that you have, you definitely want people did not know that they needed Google, they needed these search engines until these search engines came, right? So I feel like the problem has always been there. It was just a matter of showing them the possibilities and, more importantly, the transformation that can occur in their individual lives when they leverage,
Hmm.
this solution. And I think that has been very helpful, for us.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So you said that you're still in the process of your journey. I just want to clarify for you that you're not you have 200 users. I think that's a really big deal. So yeah, I'm going to ask a question now about the future plans for Babymigo. Are you planning to expand out of Nigeria? Are there, what strategies are you looking to implement in the near future? What should we be watching out for? What's happening next at Babymigo?
I typically say that we're looking to expand. We're definitely looking to expand. We're also looking to come up, well, not come up, but to develop more solutions, more hyperlocal support services for expecting moms and parents. That's definitely something to look out for. So, for example, with our mama care service, maternity plan for expecting moms, we have over 120 hospitals on that. We're looking at how can we take it to 500, how can we take it to 1,000, how can we ensure that the vulnerable women in hard to reach areas in Nigeria also have access to quality healthcare. So these are some of the things that we're currently thinking about. Expansion outside Nigeria is definitely something that we're considering. Um, I mean, I may not be able to give like a timeline to that, but that's definitely something that we're looking at, of course, in addition to fundraising.
Amazing. I wish you all the very best with that. Well
Thank you very
done.
much.
So, um, Kemi Olawoye herself is, an award-winning entrepreneur. You've done quite a lot, not just with Babymigo, but outside of Babymigo. You've won, competitions. You've done quite. You won, I think, Wimbies in 2018. So how do you how will I say it? How do you find the time to balance you know being an entrepreneur that has a public persona and running a tech startup? Because I know that it's hard. I mean, from my personal experience and from listening to other founders, I can, when I speak to people that are tech founders, I can just hear in their voice that they are always exhausted. So my question is, where do you find the energy to balance everything? Because you're
Um,
quite balanced with showing the work that you do and also building your organization. So how do
yeah.
you find this balance?
Well, to be honest, I don't even find a balance. I just do what I can do. That's just the honest truth. I do what I can do, and as they say in Nigeria, you leave the rest to God. But jokes apart, I really do what I can do. I don't think too much of it. In fact, this year, I think I probably had the least social media what's it called interaction and just really being out there this year. And I feel like it's okay. I believe that life is in stages, and really focusing on results, on the results, on the impact. And personally, I think that that has worked for us because I mean, this year we've had so much, we've had so many people telling our stories and all that kind of, our story rather and all that kind of stuff. So for me this year, it's just been a matter of focusing on the work, focusing on the results that we're getting. However, for example, I also try to I get help when I can as well. I make sure that I get help. And finally, is that I kind of also prioritize. So for us, I know that, okay, for example, LinkedIn is extremely important. So when I can show up on LinkedIn, I make sure I show up on LinkedIn and I share whatever progress it is that we've made, whatever it is that we need to do. I make sure that I, talk about that because at the end of the day, really, if you don't share your story, people would share your story for you, and it may not be the way that you want it to be shared, right? So I just kind of give that as a priority. But honestly, I'm not sure that I've done too well with balance in that area.
I'm just going to correct you right there. Like I corrected you earlier, you are doing extremely well, and you're balancing it really well. Well done, I must say. So my next
Thank you.
question is a trick question. So I like to ask people, if you're not doing what you're doing, and what would you be doing?
I
Take your
definitely
time.
think I would still be somewhere. I think I'll definitely be somewhere in public health, maybe working in a global NGO, a global organization. Yeah, either that or I'll be doing maybe also communications in public health or in a similar sector. I think that's communications or marketing. I think that seems like the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah, I think that's your thing as well. You're quite good at the public relations, mass communication aspect of things, and I think it really helps in your business. So would you say that your experience, I know that you have another company that does communication services, PR services. So would you say that experience sort of helped with Babymigo as well?
Well, so with regards to the other company, well, I mean, because the focus, I mean, this year has really been Babymigo, I've kind of allowed the team that I've built at the company to really fully focus on that while I give, my 100% to what we're doing at Babymigo. But I'm definitely an advocate for, I always preach the message that our past experiences, knowledge, and all that kind of stuff definitely helps us in whatever it is that we're doing. So I'd say 100% that my work, my past work in media, in communications, has been very helpful. In how we present ourselves and even in telling our story and the way that we tell our story. I think that has been very helpful.
I agree with you. Um, Yeah, that's amazing. Well done, Kemi. So next, what I want to ask is, what are the trends in your industry specifically that maybe you're looking to add to Babymigo, like the trends in femtech as an industry, and maybe trends that other people should watch out for that are looking to build in your space as well.
Well, I think two trends I've seen majorly is that this generation of women of parents, so the generation currently having babies are more of the millennials. The Gen Zs are not really at that point of having babies, but more of the millennials. I mean, we've noticed that the Gen Zs are very much passionate about being knowledgeable. So we have many, most of the women on our what's it called on our paid programs, paid services are definitely millennials, and you find that they really want to know as much as possible to prepare themselves. They want they want accurate information to help them in this journey of motherhood. I always say that no one fully prepares you for motherhood, but they try their best to ensure that at least they know the basic things, right? So I think that understanding that the new generation of millennial mothers are interested in being knowledgeable, and we just try to see how that affects the work that we do. I think another trend that we've seen, interestingly enough, rather, is that the millennial fathers are really working to get involved. I mean, over the past few months, we've actually seen a lot of men, pay for services for their wives. And when I think about the generation of our parents, I mean, personally, my dad was involved, very much involved, but I don't know if he would have gone to the extent of, you know, chatting with service providers and really going the extra mile. So I personally must commend the millennial fathers for how they're getting involved in the care of their wives, in the motherhood journey, the fatherhood journey. I think that's a key trend that we have been seeing from our work.
That's amazing. I think with the trend of or the wave of feminism, more men are focused on being allies and not just leaving everything to the women. And you're right, we must commend the fathers in this generation and the mothers as well. But we must commend them because I can see men around me who are fathers, the work that they're putting in. The generation before them didn't do that. So yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think we should also commend you for building a product that not just your direct target audience is women, and
Yes.
it's good to hear that men as well are adopting the product. I think that's amazing that even though you're focused on one gender, you have the other gender being quite interested in what you're building. I think that's amazing. um yeah, so I don't know if anyone watching has any questions. Now would be a great time to ask. We're getting to the end of the webinar, but this is a good time to talk about the services, plugging your services at this point. What ones do you have going on? I know that I saw something about the preg class, or there was one, is it mama care or something?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, currently, I mean, we have two key services. We have Pre Class, which is an online antenatal program for expecting moms. I mean, you can join at literally any trimester, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. And what we do
Mm,
is that we provide you with support during the course of your journey up until, I mean, 2 weeks postpartum. We also have Mama Care, which is a maternity plan that offers discounted services of antenatal, child delivery, either vaginal or cesarean section, and baby care up until the child is 1 at over
mm.
120 partner hospitals across Nigeria. So whether you're in Abuja, you're in Oyo, you're in Lagos, we're very positive that we have a hospital on our list for you that you can take advantage of. So, I mean, if anyone is interested in any of this, you can definitely, I mean, come on our platform and then click the relevant services, or you can just send us a DM on any. We're quite active on any social media platform: TikTok,
Very
Twitter,
good.
LinkedIn, anywhere. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, you're on TikTok. Do you have any TikTok tips
Yeah.
for us, for we millennials? Because TikTok is very Gen Z.
Well, well, we're still navigating it ourselves, but I think that the little we have done, our team member in charge of that is she's a Gen Z, so she kind of leads, she leads the team, including myself, when it comes to TikTok. Yeah,
So there's no specific tip. Please help.
yeah. Well, I
There's no
mean,
specific tip
I've
for
been
TikTok.
coerced. Well, I've been coerced, I think, once or twice to do, but I constantly got the thing wrong when I'm told to say those things. So I'm not, I'm not sure I'm in the best position, to give
No
any tips for
worries. No
TikTok.
worries. No worries. Do you have any last final closing words, tips that you would like to share with our community?
No, well, I just want to commend, I mean, yourself and the team at Halisi for the work that you're doing. I think that my journey constantly reminds me the need for support, the kind that you provide at Halisi for businesses, because, business owners, sometimes you just get by yourself and it looks like you're alone on this journey, especially if you don't have a co-founder. So I'm even grateful for my co-founder. So, especially if you don't have a co-founder, you just need like another person, or, an organization that really understands your business needs. And it's great to see an organization like yours that you understand how businesses and how entrepreneurs think, and then you're able to now provide the right solution. So well done on that.
Thank you so much, Madam Kemi. Thank you so much for your time. I know that your schedule is very busy. It was hard getting you on this call. We had to email like 5 people in your organization before.
Not at
But yeah,
all.
thank you so thank you so much for your time. And I know that I grilled you very well for this webinar. So yeah, thank you for coming to share your insights with us. We hope to have you again soon. Maybe when you get to 1 million users, you come and tell us how you got there. So yeah,
Actually, we look
thank
forward to
you.
that, and sooner than 200 and 250.
By God's grace. Alrighty. Thank
All right,
you.
then. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah, so that was a great, great, great session with Kemi Olawoye. She shared amazing insights, I must say, on how she builds Babymigo, co-founder tips, fundraising tips, growth tips, community tips, storytelling. In fact, she gave a whole well-rounded session on how to grow your business in Nigeria, especially in a niche market like hers. So yeah, that being said, thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you for joining our webinar once again. We're gonna go again at sometime this month or early next month with another founder. Um, yeah, and just to recap what we do at Halisi is a business development and consulting company operating in Lagos, Nigeria, but we serve clients globally. We offer entrepreneurs, small businesses, and startups services that help them launch, grow, and thrive. These services are business plans, growth marketing services, fundraising services, investor readiness services. So if you have any problems in these areas, you can always reach out to us. We'll have a solution for you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning into our webinar. Yeah, till next time we go again. Ciao.